morning, everybody. George Salamis, Integra Resources, CEO, President, here today on Thursday, April 7th, 2021, to talk to you about some really great drill results we have from our Delamar project situated in southwestern Idaho. This time, the results are from two different areas, Florida Mountain, where we continue to hit some very high-grade results, and the BlackSheep area, this new discovery area, which we continue to add to the potential. It bears mentioning that these two areas are separated by about 10 kilometers of distance, and I think that's really a testament to the size of this low sulfidation epithermal system that we control in this part of southwestern Idaho. The results that we're putting out today are in fact so good that's really prompted us to decide to go faster with our drill program, and so hence the reason why we've added two drill rigs, or in fact we are going to add two drill rigs in the coming weeks to bring a total rig count to 4 rigs on site. Really, that's the way to do this project justice. We've discovered gold on various fronts, and really we need to start hitting this a lot harder than we have been. So we've amped up the drill program to 4 drill rigs to test these areas outside of the resource areas, the 4.4 million ounces of resources that we've delineated so far. So we've got more high grade to talk about at Florida Mountain, some excellent continuity in intercepts, perhaps up to 400 meters outside of the known resource at Florida Mountain. High-grade exploration continues to have a really high rate of success. We're now approaching 70% hit rate of high-grade gold and silver well outside of the resource model. And the geometries that we're getting of gold and silver intercepts are really started prompting us to start thinking about there's multi-million ounce potential there, which is what I believe that we're delineating slowly. What would it take us to go faster? Maybe an underground exploration program. And then once delineated, what could those resources, multi-million ounce high-grade underground resources, add in the form of a mine plan to our existing mine plan per the PA study, which we put out a couple of years ago, of 125,000 ounces of gold equivalent per annum. Perhaps more later on that this year. It's something that we're starting to think about. And then the BlackSheep and Lucky Days area, these new discoveries in this area, which we announced earlier this year, we're continuing on from that. We're essentially adding potential strike length of potentially bulk tonnage gold and silver really close to surface in this case, in the case of the result that we put out today. And again, it's leading us to believe that there's a large bulk tonnage gold silver deposit to be delineated out there that's basically pretty shallow. And thus the reason that we decided to add more drill rigs to the campaign. So I'm going to just jump in now to the Verify presentation and show you a bit more about what these resources look like. So this is the Delamar project situated in southwestern Idaho. This is the Delamar Deposit, 3.3 million ounces there. Florida Mountain, 1.1 million ounces. And I urge you to look at our website to look at the disclosure that we have on the breakdown of these resources. So there's Florida Mountain there. This large area here is essentially BlackSheep. And that's where we've also put out some results from today. Jumping first to Florida Mountain. And this is kind of where it all starts. Here's Florida Mountain, a view from the west looking east. The top of the resource is essentially right here. The bottom of the resource is right there below that haulage road. So all of the drilling that we've been doing of late, the high-grade drilling, which has had a really high success rate, intersecting high-grade gold and silver, has been below the lower resource boundary and on strike in the form of these narrow vein, 1.5 to 3 meter wide high-grade intercepts in the form of plunging chutes. I'm just going to read aloud some of the drill results that we put out from here. 12.9 grams per ton gold, 1,675 grams per ton silver over 1.52 meters, 15.17 grams per ton gold, 250 grams per ton silver over 0.92 meters. And in the case of FME 107, 16.86 grams per ton gold and 2,472 grams per ton silver over 1.25 meters. A real mouthful. I'm just going to show you where some of these are in a sec, but perhaps maybe I'll take you through the history of our high-grade intercepts in the Florida Mountain area, which we really started to nail as of 2019 and into 2020. So you can see here's the Florida Mountain Deposit and the block model. that forms the 1.1 million ounce gold equivalent resource. And you can start to see some of these high-grade hits well outside of the resource boundary, which we've reported previously. I'm going to turn this on section here for a sec, pull away the topography, and you can see for yourselves, some of the high-grade results that we put out in 2020. You can see that there's some spectacular grades there. Again, well outside of the resource boundary, hundreds of meters outside of the resource boundary. And then into Q4, again, more of the same. High-grade results well outside of the resource model itself. And then into these latest results, and this is where they are. So in order to best see them, I've peeled away the resource model, and you can see here an abundance of high-grade intercepts, 100 to 400 meters outside of the resource model itself. So really quite interesting. And so what that's really prompting us to think now is, what could this high-grade resource look like when further delineated? Because adding a high-grade resource to the bulk tonnage low-grade production scenario, which we talked about in the PA, really adds a lot. So what could this look like as an optimized underground drill program, perhaps? And then what could that look like in a mine plan in the future? These are things that we're thinking about right now. Really exciting times at the company, thinking about these things in the form of desktop studies. Moving now to Black Sheep. And as I mentioned, sort of the distance between Florida Mountain here and the Black Sheep area, specifically Lucky Days, is about 10 kilometers, almost 10 kilometers of distance. So this is a really, really big system that we've got here at Black Sheep. And now to kind of zoom in on the Lucky Days area. And so those of you who saw the video last time, the last presentation, would note that the controlling structures, or the edge of the volcanic vent complex that Max and his team have identified, starts really down here at the Delamar Deposit. That's 3.3 million ounces down there. And the edge of the complex and these controlling structures really just strike northwest into this area. Specifically, the area that we're talking about today in today's news release is this area, the Lucky Days project, situated about 5 kilometers away from the heart of the Delamar Deposit itself. And so what we announced here is something pretty spectacular. Bear in mind, these are our first drill holes into an area that really has only been sparsely drilled. And one of the things that we found in the Lucky Days area, specifically Georgiana, no different, which is 2 kilometers to the west, is we're starting to hit bulk tonnage, low grade, potentially mineable resources, subject to further drilling and studies, obviously, that we need to do. But really, these intercepts occur right from surface. So we're starting to believe, anyway, that there's a bulk tonnage, low grade deposit to be delineated. Hence the reason why we put together a plan to increase the drill rig count on the program from 2 rigs to 4 rigs. And so you can see the intercept that we announced today, 25.15 meters at 0.5 grams per ton gold, 41.15 grams per ton silver. So that's about a 1.03 gram per ton gold equivalent. Bear in mind that our PEA cutoff for the heap leach was 0.2. So we're talking about grades that are well in excess of the cutoff grade that we used in the last study. Again, this is something that we need to do more work on, but really could be a game changer when it comes to future additional resources in this area. We have to hit this area harder, and we will be by adding a 3rd and a 4th drill rig to this area. So a real game changer is what we have on our hands. Just to kind of put things into context as well, in terms of what this looks like relative to the geochemistry of this area and perhaps the IP chargeability. And I'm just going to jump into that just to kind of put things into context. IP chargeability works extremely well on this project. I'm going to zoom in on that. That's the IP chargeability signature of the Delamar deposit. That's 3.3 million ounces right there. And that's a chargeability signature. So very high chargeability. When you look at this new area of Black Sheep and Lucky Days, situated in the northwestern part of the project area, you can see the large chargeability anomaly that's related to this deposit, and also coincident soil geochem, some very high grade soil geochem results that are coincident with this IP anomaly, that are in fact coincident with the intercept that we put out today. So really sort of speaks of the potential of this area and the fact that we're just barely scratching the surface. Much more drilling needs to be done there. And we do believe that there's a very large resource to be delineated out there, which is why we've added drill rigs. So that's all I have for today. Look forward to talking to you again at some point in the future about future discoveries, additional high grade at Florida Mountain, development studies as we lead into the PFS later on this year. Thanks very much.